All right, so week 6 of my challenge didn't go exactly as I expected because of this curse that keeps happening to me. Now, I'll get into that in just a minute, but first, I wanted to invite you to join a brand new free trading community that I just recently started. Well, it's actually existed. It's a private community with me and just a few of my trader friends that are all collaborating together and working to help each other out, teach each other. Anyways, I got a whole bunch of good stuff in there. I'm starting to drop like things to make your life as a trader easier, like this operating procedure checklist. Here's a printed version, right? But I love to keep this on my desk, and then I can just easily know exactly what to do every day. This operating procedure, like I don't have to think too hard. It's just, is price at this level? Check. I'm looking for a trade. It really reduced my stress and really improved my trading. When I used this, implemented this, I stopped losing a whole lot of trades. So I got stuff like that in my Discord for free. Links below, and I'd love to have you in there. Now, back to the curse. Let's dive in and see, and I'll show you more what I'm talking about. So here we are to the TradeZella dashboard, and let me explain what's been going on. This last week here, which was my 6th week of this funded payout challenge, something's a little different, right? And it doesn't, I'm sure you don't fully notice it by looking at this, but maybe I'm going to go back right here and tell me if you can see anything. Like, for one, trading's improving, less red days, more green days, right? Less break-even days. One of the patterns that TradeZella had pointed out to me that I didn't notice, and I found it in the report section, was that Wednesday was my worst day. And obviously, when you look at Wednesdays, it's like consistently red. And I don't think if there's any more days before that, no. But then rolling into August, this was the 5th week in a row where I had a red Wednesday. So a strong majority of my red came from Wednesdays. So once I found that piece of data, and I made some tweaks and adjustments to what I was doing, well, look at that. No red on Wednesday. And actually, the week turned out pretty all right. So basically, Monday was one trade. Tuesday, I didn't get a trade. There was no smart money reversal for me to get in on in the time period that I was in front of the charts. Wednesday, I did get into a trade. However, I went break even on it pretty dang quickly. I realized that I didn't quite get the criteria right. The SMT wasn't validated, I don't believe. So I went break even on the trade, which was totally great because it actually ended up being, I don't want to say the word loser, right? It would have been an expense. And then on Thursday, I took a winner, and that was, I want to talk about that here in just a minute. And then Friday, I was not around the charts. So all in all, a green week. The numbers up here at the top, they're finally starting to climb up and improve. And a lot of this is dragged down by the previous month's data. So if I go here to this month's data, look at that, 71% win rate, 3.32 profit factor, trade expectancy, $108, 83% green day, and then the average win to loss, 1.3. So it's pretty. These are reasonable statistics. These are numbers that I could get behind, and what a profitable trader should see. Now, one of the things I want to point out here is I'm going to clear this out because I want to show the whole thing. Let me make sure you can see this on the screen. Oh wow, I'm a little bright on the. I'm a little hot, as you would say, right? My face is bright because all this sun's coming into my windows here. But nobody cares about that. So here, checking this out is the daily net cumulative P&L. And so if we look at this here, you can see the beginning of the challenge. I drew down the account, had a low here, and then I've been working my way out of drawdown. So the account's up in the green, almost 600 for last week in the green. And so just want to keep that trend going. Now, so you can see I broke the curse. No more red on Wednesdays, and that made a significant difference in my bottom line. Now, this trade here was one thing I want to take a look at real quick. Some lessons that I'm learning here is as I go through this, every week I review what I did and didn't do and what I can do better, and I turn that into a checklist, and then I go back the next week and look at it. But here on this trade, This one kind of got me a little bit because price came within just a couple ticks of my take profit. I had it up here for these equal highs, and then I dragged down my take profit a little bit. I just wanted to front run this news high. And sure enough, it did not hit that high before dropping. And I had trailed my stop somewhere right below, I think, these lows right in here, because I figured if it's going to invert these fair value gaps and invert this gap and create a change in state of delivery here, I want out of the trade. So I trailed my stop up into here, and then meaning I only got like 1.2 R out of the trade when it should have been a full 2 R trade. My rule is I can go break even, and then in theory, I don't have much of a rule after that says whether or not I should trail my stop. But once price gets about 75% of the way to my profit target, I can go break even. In this case, I tucked my stop up because I didn't really want to see it come any further back on me. Now, obviously, look what that would have done. It would have played out perfectly. And this 221 would have been about probably 400 in profit. So that was the only real thing from last week that I felt I didn't quite do right. Now, if you want to take a look over here, I'm going to move this over. I didn't quite get it ready yet. Let's see here. So this is in my Discord, actually. So you can see how I use a Discord for my journal. All of this is hidden from my free Discord. But anyway, so last week was this week. Right here. So August 14th was the last week. 11th? Might have the date wrong. Either way, last week, week 6. So I met almost all of my goals. I wanted to keep my stop loss tighter, check. I didn't break even on any trades preemptively, check. Now, I did break even on one trade that didn't have all the criteria met, and that's where I'm allowing myself to break even. I broke the habit of just going break even because I was scared on trades. So I'm now allowing myself to break even if something's wrong. This one right here, I didn't TP early, so I'm aiming for 2R. I never TP'd early, but I got that I got my trailed stop hit, and that then kind of is why I didn't check this one off. Increasing the risk last week was one of my goals, up to 150. I hit up to I think almost up to 200 in risk. And then staying away from PD array salads, which I talked about on my Twitter, I think, and basically just noticing recently when prices in between higher time frame PD arrays, which is an ICT concept, just to stay away from price, because that kept chewing me up and I would get loss after loss. I also maxed two trades in one macro rule. So the rule here is do not take 2 trades in one macro. I stuck to that. Wednesday, low risk and picky. And that's exactly what happened, right? I avoided losses on Wednesday. So did really good with adhering to all of my goals and produced positive results. So now this current week, my new goals are hold for 2R without the trailing stop. So you can see I kind of noticed that happened a time or two, and now I've adjusted, and this is my next improvement. Taking perfect trades. Now this is super interesting, and let's see here. Maybe I can pull something up for, I got a couple of extra minutes. Let's do this. I'm doing an experiment here where is it? In back testing and in forward testing, I'm mapping out what looks like a good trade and what looks like a bad trade. So pull this up here. I just want to show you. I'm screenshotting all of them. No trades and good trades, right? So here's an example of a higher time frame PD array salad where price isn't moving. And this is just ugly. This is low probability, but I screenshot this and because it's not perfect, it's ugly. Whereas for me in my model, and there's just more examples here of like, here's an ugly trade, here's an ugly trade. And what I wanted to look at was what was the perfect trades. Because the perfect trades tend to hit. The ugly trades, they tend to be less reliable, which means they have a lower win rate. But here we can see a breaker inversion that was just beautiful, tapped into, it just met all the criteria perfectly, and it looked beautiful. The structure was beautiful. This is a perfect inversion breaker trade. Similar here. This was a beautiful one. Now I noted this one because, and even though it failed, it would have hit 2R. It was beautiful looking. Checking to make sure. Yeah, that one might have been in the wrong folder actually. This is the one I was thinking about, where it's just a beautiful trade. Look how well it runs. Whereas this one actually, that's supposed to go in the other folder, the not good trades. This one, it made a beautiful breaker and then rocketed out from there. So that was the whole, I don't want to get too far into that, but that was this idea of taking perfect trades. I want to be more confident, but avoid questionable setups and trade less, because I'm getting better results, which was all, if you look at here, at TradeZella, look at how much greener this month is. I'm trading less. I'm avoiding the garbage versus this. You can see all this sea of red. So right there. And then just keeping my risk at 200 per trade, except for Wednesdays. So that's my goals for this upcoming week. I think it should be pretty minor things, all pretty easy to do, small adjustments. So yeah, that's a review of week 6. I'm happy. I can't complain if my account's green. The other big thing I'm really trying to, I guess, lastly, is I need to edit my list, is to not attach to the P&L at all. I think I literally have it written out on one of my sheets here on my desk. I got to forget that this account's green. I'm not caring. I'm willing to give it back to keep going. Like I'm not attached to the quote unquote money in the account. So I want to add that to my checklist for this coming week to make sure. And that became more important as the account's getting more and more in the green. So yeah, that's a summary of week 6. And from here, just go onward and upward.